We are thrilled to have the opportunity to have Chief Judge Popejoy with us today to give the annual State of the Courthouse address. As a practitioner who rarely found herself in the law division, I had not had an opportunity to get to know Judge Popejoy personally in the courthouse, but I was certainly aware of his decades of dedication to the 18th Judicial Circuit, the DCBA, and the legal community as a whole during my early years of practice. I am so grateful to have been able to work with him in many roles as the president and president-elect of the DCBA over the past few years, and it has truly been my pleasure to get to know him. Chief Judge Popejoy grew up in the DuPage legal community. He had a successful career in private practice, which he credits for his understanding of the important role the Bar Association plays in our community and his desire to build a strong relationship between the bench and the bar. In 1997, he became an associate judge. In 2004, Judge Popejoy successfully ran for circuit judge, and he has sat in the 18th Circuit in that capacity ever since. In December of 2020, he was unanimously elected as the chief judge. Judge Popejoy is the first chief judge to personally know every prior chief judge. He has been a member of the DCBA since he started his career and previously served as a director on the DuPage County Bar Association board. We appreciate his support and look forward to seeing what is in store for the remainder of his term. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce Chief Judge Ken Popejoy.
Well, thank you, Kylie. I appreciate that fine introduction and appreciate the words about cooperation with the bar and the judiciary, because that's certainly a large manner of what I want to do as chief judge and what I want to do with all of you. So good afternoon to everyone. I am Chief Judge Kenneth Popejoy, and I'm here in the Chief Judge's office today to present my second State of the Courthouse address, just 16 months into my 36-month term. Just think, 2 years ago, this was our last normal week, and nobody really knew it. Well, what a 2 years we've had with face masks, social distancing, vaccines, boosters, Zoom, and all the subtle and not so subtle nuances of a pandemic. A brief pause for a quick history lesson of our 18th Judicial Circuit might give us all a unique perspective of the present. In 1896, on property bought from Warren Wheaton, the first courthouse in Wheaton was built. Nearly 30 years later, in 1896, the historical DuPage County Courthouse, which is still standing in downtown Wheaton, was first used. In 1959, over 60 years later, the annex was added to the downtown courthouse, which nearly doubled the number of courtrooms and added the sheriff's jail. In the early 70s, the jail and the county administration complex opened on County Farm Road. And by 1991, our current 505 courthouse was completed. But there was a problem. Judges, attorneys, and others were getting sick in our new building. As a result, it was completely vacated, and temporary courtrooms and services were moved to the DuPage County Fairgrounds until mitigation efforts were completed. Months of curtained, no-wall courtrooms and interrupted services followed. But after being closed for nearly a year, the problems were corrected and the 505 courthouse building reopened with court resuming as originally intended. At that time, the state's attorney, public defender, and probation department were all housed in the 505 building. As growth continued, 10 years later, the 503 building opened for the expanded operations of the state's attorney, public defender, and probation services. Now, most recently, since March of 2019, court services and operations have again been interrupted, delayed, and altered, but now by the COVID-19 pandemic and its related restrictions and safeguards. It's been a challenging and bumpy ride to practice law and to judge in DuPage County and the 18th Judicial Circuit, but change never ceases, and we're about to embark on our next adventure for judicial administration. Just this past Tuesday, March 8th of 2022, the County Board approved a $19.8 million construction plan encompassing the Sheriff's Building, 501, the State's Attorney, Public Defender, and Probation Building, 503, and the Courthouse Building, 505. I led a consortium of judicial stakeholders in meeting and planning sessions over the past year to present to the County Board for their approval, which was just obtained, of the following three changes and needs for the proper administration of justice in the 18th Judicial Circuit Court. Number one, effective January 1st of 2023, bond court procedures are going to look completely different due to new state legislation. Due to this new legislation, cash bond has been eliminated and replaced with a detention hearing process meant to detain, pending trial, only the most serious alleged offenders. A full evidentiary hearing with discovery and testimony may now take place for each and every criminal incident. It will require a full-time judge to handle the new detention hearing court call in a much larger bond courtroom. The current courtroom in the 501 building being used for weekend bond determinations will be expanded to almost 3 times its current size to accommodate the now 7-day-a-week in-person hearings required under the new legislation. It shall become completed and open for operations by January 1st of 2023. 2, an entirely new 3rd floor on the east half of the 503 building will be constructed. When completed near the end of 2023, it will house the entire public defender's office as well as the already occupied regional office of education. The existing 2nd floor will be remodeled to encompass the growth of our state's attorney's office. The 1st floor will see renovation to expand the probation department into the entire 1st floor, including where the public defender was, which will improve the separation of juvenile and adult probation services. Mind you, there will be a lot of disruption resulting from this 18-month construction project. But by 2024, we will be in full, efficient operation of those 3 essential offices. And third, in addition to all of this, we are going to be adding 2 new courtrooms on the 3rd floor of the 505 building and expanding the grand jury room for more efficient operations. Currently, outside what we call the pandemic courtroom, 3011, there are 2 large conference rooms that we have used for socially distanced jury rooms and grand jury operations. Those will be converted into 2 new bench trial courtrooms. The currently vacant old grand jury room will be expanded in size and returned to its functional operation. The balcony over the law library will now be glassed and will be converted into 2 judges' chambers for those 2 new courtrooms. All of this will be in full operation on or before 2024. Wow, that's a lot to take into account and to plan as we move into our next phase of judicial administration in DuPage County. The judiciary and the bar will need to work in concert together to manage the construction transition and to maintain our full operational capacity and needs while still maintaining our current court calls. Patience, understanding, and flexibility will be the words of necessity for all of us to work together as we navigate these changes. After all that exciting news and changes to come, how can there be anything more for me to tell you about? Well, as you know from State of the Courthouse addresses, we go on quite a bit with lots of things. And I will now give you our divisional reports, followed by a closing discussion on our future plans for court operations going forward. The Chancery Division. As with all divisions, COVID has changed the way Chancery operates to date. Almost every case has been heard remotely through Zoom, although bench trials and evidentiary hearings have proceeded in person at the sole discretion of the court. In fact, one positive outcome of the court shutdown resulting from COVID is that each of the Chancery courtrooms, as well as every courtroom throughout our building, has been outfitted with large TV monitors and cameras that assist in conducting evidentiary hearings, trials, incorporating a remote aspect if necessary. Overall, filings are down in the Chancery Division, but this is to be expected and is merely a reflection of what has been happening since COVID began. Not surprisingly, mental health hearings, though, have increased, and our judges, along with the court reporter, deputy, public defender, and state's attorney, still are going to local hospitals for these mental health hearings. Additionally, probate filings have increased, perhaps another reflection of the COVID epidemic. The biggest event in Chancery over the past year concerns residential evictions. Our new mediation program, overseen by Presiding Judge Paul Fullerton, has been very successful. Almost all evictions, if not resolved immediately upon the return date, are set to mediation. Our mediation and program involves Judge James McCluskey, Judge Craig Belford, and Kimberly Verist, along with the Prairie State Legal Services and those private attorneys who have become certified mediators operating within the mediation program guidelines when landlords and tenants can attempt to resolve their cases prior to actual eviction trials. The program has been very, very successful, with over 50% of the cases sent to mediation settling and 65% resolving prior to trial. The juvenile and the specialty courts. The Juvenile Specialty Court Division has enjoyed success both inside and outside the courtrooms. In May of 2021, the DuPage County Veterans Court was awarded a mental health court certification by the Administrative Office of Illinois Courts. Currently, there were over 200 participants in drug court, MICAP, Veterans Court, and Focus Court has 1,300 cases on the docket. This year, 54 participants graduated from drug court, MICAP, and Veterans Court. Through the efforts of drug court presiding judge Kavita Athanakar, it was an honor to have Regina LaBelle, the acting director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy, address the 6 graduates at one of our drug court graduations, encouraging them to continue on their path of recovery. I'm also pleased to announce that the 18th Judicial Circuit has been awarded $568,748 in grant funds by the Bureau of Justice Administration through the United States Department of Justice to expand treatment programming in drug court and veterans court. The program expansion includes medication-assisted treatment, 2 recovery centers, and increasing peer support programs over the next 4 years. This grant was a direct result of the leadership of Judge Athanakar, working with Veterans Court presiding Judge Paul Marchese and Deputy Director of Probation Tim McGavin. Their hard work to secure this grant demonstrates how committed the 18th Judicial Circuit is to improving drug court, Focus, MICAP, and Veterans Court to break the cycle of arrest, drug addiction, mental health, and recidivism. Under the Illinois Association of Mental Health Court Judges and with the assistance of the Administrative Office of Illinois Courts, Judge Paul Marchese also initiated and organized a forum for judges to share experiences and ideas on a quarterly basis. These are just a few of the highlights of how our specialty courts continue to grow and improve because of the innovation, collaboration of the specialty court teams. Juvenile court has also experienced improvement over the past year. Judge Anthony Coco and Judge Brian Jacobs report that remote court proceedings have actually increased the amount of participation by parents, foster parents, and other stakeholders in the judicial, in the juvenile abuse and neglect cases. This has positively impacted communication between the judge, parent, attorneys, and all the agencies involved in these cases. The 18th Judicial Family Violence Coordinating Council is currently in the middle of its grant year and has already achieved major successes through trainings and community awareness events. Circuit Judge Ann Celine Walsh, not only supervising every one of those specialty court accomplishments that we have obtained and overseeing the entire operations of that division. In addition to all of that work that she does, also, she's involved with the Family Violence Coordinating Council in leading it to provide a forum to improve institutional, professional, and community response to domestic violence, and is funded by a grant provided by the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority. The 18th Judicial Family Violence Coordinating Council was also recently recognized in a meeting with the grantors as a leading council in the state of Illinois. The Felony Division. The 6 felony courtrooms are up and running at full capacity. Each room does a Zoom call from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then begins in-person proceedings at 10 a.m. Judges are taking remote pleas on inmates who are incarcerated in other facilities. All rooms are taking live pleas, hearings, motions, and bench trials. Most trials and lengthy motions are taking place in the afternoon at 1:30. Very shortly, we will again be able to conduct juries in all 6 courtrooms. As of now, and only a limited number of courtrooms have been large enough to have the capacity for social distancing. Issues that we are currently dealing with are the suspension of work release and the fact that there was no post-disposition GPS program to monitor a home confinement sentence. Presiding judges Brian T. Lander and from the Misdemeanor Division, Karen Wilson, and I are working with all the county stakeholders to find a plan that we could implement for all concerned. Domestic relations. In the Domestic Relations Division, Zoom seems to remain the standard for most proceedings. But if the court deems the matter, such as a trial, as exigent, it will proceed in person. All of our courtrooms are equipped with social distancing measures. All emergencies and orders of protection remain in person at all times. For the future, we will though continue to use Zoom and remote prove-ups by affidavit. In addition, we're now equipped to fully operate and function and conduct with hybrid Zoom matters. No one has the technology in the courtrooms that we have. No one throughout the state of Illinois. That's a credit to Suzanne Armstrong, to my predecessor, Dan Guerin, and to our entire 18th Judicial Circuit. Help Desk is coming back via Zoom. The Bar Association's Executive Director, Robert Rupp, its President, Kylie Whitty, and its past President, Wendy Muselik, have done a great job in setting this up. Presiding Judge Tim McJoint and I cannot thank all of you enough for all of your time and effort in assisting the self-represented litigants to navigate through our judicial experience. We are presently updating all of our lists of authorized participants in domestic litigation. This is the mediator, GAL, and the evaluators list. To confirm that you are on those lists, you need to contact Judge McJoint through his administrative assistant, Judy Gimber. The caseload for 2022 appears to be basically the same, but we made Courtroom 2001 an open room on Zoom to try to get quicker future dates and matters in that courtroom taken care of. All other domestic courtrooms will continue to use the set times in each case. Those times are only obtained from the Domestic Relations Administrative staff, not from the clerk of the court. Each judge has a designated assistant. Just call them and ask to set it up. We look forward to even better service to the litigants in 2022 from the Domestic Relations Division. Misdemeanor and traffic. The 18th Judicial Circuit Misdemeanor Traffic Division is comprised of 12 courtrooms and 13 judges. It's the largest division in the 18th Judicial Circuit, managing the highest number of cases, including driving under the influence of alcohol, domestic battery, violation of orders of protection, and all other misdemeanor and traffic offenses. As a result of COVID in 2022 and the precautionary methods enacted to ensure the safety of all litigants, attorneys, and court personnel, the number of cases increased significantly. In an effort to address these increases, under the leadership of Presiding Judge Karen Wilson, the division implemented a number of measures throughout 2021 to continue to hold court and address cases in a safe and effective manner. In misdemeanor cases, these measures include the use of remote technology on a daily basis. This technology will undoubtedly become a permanent option for case management and resolution moving forward. The upgrades in technology and monitors in each criminal courtroom in the last year has proved to be a valuable and welcome addition for judges and court staff, as well as attorneys and litigants. In addition to remote proceedings, all misdemeanor judges continue to hear a significant number of cases in person, including bench trials, jury trials, and evidentiary hearings. All traffic cases are held in person and continue to utilize social distancing and a staggered start to court times throughout the day to minimize personal contact with litigants and staff. These measures have been highly successful since their inception. All precautionary measures implemented in both the misdemeanor and traffic divisions in 2021 and 2022 have permitted the judges to hear more cases in an expeditious manner. And as a result, the overall volume has not increased like it had in previous years. All judges are well positioned to continue to resolve cases and administer justice in a fair, safe, and efficient manner. Law. As the current presiding judge of the Law Division, I'm happy to report that we have been a leader in the state in maintaining an aggressive and time-sensitive schedule in conducting jury trials. I can count on one hand the number of trials scheduled to go that have had to be continued because we couldn't accommodate a trial. We've reduced the law judge calls from 5 to 4 for the purpose of efficiency and continuity, and find that that transition has been a seamless one. We continue to dispose of 80% or more of our trial calendar through pretrial settlement or dismissals, and the aging of our court calls has remained constant through the last 2 years of COVID challenges. So that's where we've been. We all know that. Now, where do we go from here? First of all, effective June 21st of 2022, there will be a number of judge reassignments, along with a number of court call and courtroom changes. Today, the specifics of those changes have been given to the DuPage County Bar Association offices, and they will disseminate those changes to the membership next week. With that, please let me discuss the judiciary's relationship with our Bar Association and its leadership. It's been a major personal initiative of mine to refresh and reinvigorate our relationship with each other. Through my involvement with last year's Judges Night, our bi-monthly bench bar leadership meetings, the acknowledgement of the hard work and effort of our Judicial Candidate Evaluation Committee, and maintaining an open, transparent gateway with bar leadership, I have made a concerted effort to acknowledge and respect the role of the bar membership with your judiciary. As judges, we rule on the law and make difficult decisions following a review of attorneys' pleadings, motions, and arguments. But it is you, the attorneys, that live, eat, and breathe the day-to-day rigors of the practice of law and the inherently intense professional and business decisions incorporated therein. We respect all that you do and thank you for the respect and professionalism that you show to each of us in court every day, whether live or by Zoom. So now let's discuss the future of what lies ahead. On February 28th, I removed the mask mandate for the courthouse. The next issue to address is social distancing, which has the greater effect of truly reopening our courtrooms for the return of in-person proceedings. Starting this coming Monday, March 14th, 2022, all of the fourth floor courtrooms shall have all social distancing restrictions removed. Each courtroom will still maintain their 9 a.m. status call with Zoom, but in-person proceedings and bench and jury trials shall proceed thereafter in each such courtroom. Yes, Zoom and hybrid Zoom will continue to be utilized in conjunction with the direction and discretion of each judge in each courtroom, but there will be no specific requirement of same, other than that 9 o'clock status call that I referenced. And you are completely free to now enter into each courtroom without restriction. If we do not see any setback or pushback from any COVID-related issues, I anticipate the revoking of all social distancing next on the second floor, with the Attorney Resource Center opening first for the DuPage County Bar Association and the DuPage Bar Foundation Member Memorial on Friday, April 8th of 2022. The courtrooms on the second floor would then all open up the following Monday, April 11th of 2022. Soon thereafter, we will hopefully open the third floor and finally the first floor courtrooms until the courthouse is fully operational in the absence of COVID-related restrictions. Finally, what will not change is our circuit's current policy and procedures in regard to portable electronic devices. Absent your DCBA courthouse pass or your ARDC registration card, the ban shall remain in full force and effect pursuant to the direction and insistence of the sheriff and the state's attorney's offices, as well as by the unanimous vote of the circuit judges in support of same. So yes, we are returning to normal, but it will be a new normal with the advantages and continuation of Zoom procedures available to all. I feel that Zoom technology has been an upgrade in the mechanism and procedures of our day-to-day courtroom functions, and there's no need to terminate its effectiveness or efficiency. Thank you all very much for your consideration and patience during this long-worded State of the Courthouse address. There's a lot going on and a lot of changes, advancements, and opportunities ahead for all of us. It has truly been an honor to be the 18th Judicial Circuit Court Chief Judge through all of this brave new world that we've been living during these past 2 years. It will also continue to be an honor over the next 20 months to help guide our circuit into a new day of economy, effectiveness, efficiency, and excellence. It is through our continued partnership and cooperation that our 18th Judicial Circuit Court, along with our DuPage County Bar Association, together making DuPage County the best place to practice law and to administer justice in the state of Illinois. I'm proud and thankful for each and every one of you, and I thank you for the time that you've given me today. Thank you.